Very good morning, students. Today we have Mr. Ajinkya Sonane. He is alumni of Computer Engineering Department VIIT. He is also batch topper. Presently, he is working as a software developer at FinIQ Consulting Private Limited. He has been placed through on campus, and he is one of the highest paid candidates from his batch. Right? So I want to just give you a brief history to students how bright he is. Initially, company came to the campus, and the company has offered some X amount per annum. But during his projects and during his again internship and all those experience, company again invited him to the campus and increased his package from X plus 3. So it is a rare instance, and such instances are very rare during the on-campus placements where candidate gets selected and again company invites him in the company and increases his package. Such a candidate is Mr. Ajinkya Sonone, and we are very lucky to we have Mr. Ajinkya with us. He is going to present and he is going to talk on the topic how to prepare for technical interviews. Right? Uh, Ajinkya,
Yes,
over
sir.
to you.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, very good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to say I've just passed out in 2019, and that's just 1 year of experience. But so my PPT is going to be really short. If you have any questions, you can post it, or if the chat is enabled. If not, then we'll cover it in the Q&A session. So let's start with the PPT first. So the topic is, as you all know, it's how to prepare for technical interviews. So the first question which everyone would ask you, why me? Now, sir has given a good introduction for me. Thank you, sir. And I'll tell something about myself. My name is Ajinkya Sunavne. I've completed bachelor's in computer engineering in batch 2019, and I'm working as a software developer at FinIQ Consulting. I was placed on campus, and as it's written, I'm not a public speaker, and I've made this PPT last night. So don't expect a lot, but I'll try to cover as much as possible. So what are we going to cover? So I had already sent these 3 points, that core technical subjects, mini projects or weekend projects, and internships. So why technical and why core technical subjects? So the first thing is, we as computer engineers have been evolving since last 60 years. There have been so many languages from which we are coding, we are developing softwares, and everything is going on. It changes every year. When I was in first year, languages like Python, Java were being used. Then it shifted towards web development, Android development, app development. Everything moved towards app development. Now everything is moving towards a software as a service, platform as a service. So that's why I would like to tell you all that why core technical subjects are more important than the languages you learn. So let's start with the first point of why core technical subjects. So knowing 5 to 10 programming languages won't get you the job. Why? Because when the company is going to come there, they have to interview roughly say 100 people. And if everyone is going to showcase their skills in different languages, it's going to be tough for the interviewer, because the interviewer is some random employee who came for the interview. Last year for 2020 batch, I guess, I had come with my company after joining my company. So I joined in July, and I was here for the interview in August, mid-August, I guess. And that time I realized that everyone was trying to showcase that I have done this languages, I have worked on this language, and no one was focusing on their core technical subjects. So what are these core technical subjects? So the core technical subjects are data structures and algorithms, object-oriented programming, operating system, and the specifics of operating system, that is task scheduling, multi-threading, and etc. And computer networks. And in computer networks, the architectures are important: TCP, UDP, IP, and OSI layer models. So all these 3 to 4 subjects are very important, because you can code in any language to achieve this. So for example, we had a student from my batch. He was he was skilled in C++. So when the interviewer asked him to solve a problem, he frankly told him that I am good in this language and I would love to do the code in this language. And he was granted the permission to do that. But he could do the problem, he could solve the problem because his core technical subjects were good. his logic was good. He could implement multi-threading. He could do some. He could use some algorithms, data structures, and that's how he could shape whatever the problem was and solve it through any of the languages which was mentioned. But as he was expert in C++, he used that language. So if you're able to code at least in one language and debug the code, so for example, many of our students, while during the practical exams, if they get an error, they panic and they don't know how to debug that. So every language has a debugger, and we should be able to debug that. So in technical interviews, most probably there is not going to be a computer or laptop which is where on which you're going to code and then debug. But when you are showing it to the person sitting in front of you, they are expecting you to write it on the paper without any syntax. So it doesn't matter if your syntax is going to be correct. The main focus is that you're using a proper data structure which is efficient. So if you want to do some swapping, you use variables, you use references, all these details matter. It doesn't matter what language you're using, because the main purpose of the interviewer is to know whether you are skilled, whether you can actually code in any language if you know the basics. And interviews are looking for the ability to think, and they want you to think. And for example, if they say sort prime, list prime numbers from 1 to 100, so if you are able to do that in any language, you have actually solved the problem. Okay, okay, I got a question. Study MCA. Okay, uh, I'll answer this question after the session.
Mr. Ajinkya,
Yes,
we
sir.
will continue with your PPTs, and at the end we can start with question and answer. So that will be very easy and smooth.
Yes, sure. So I'll answer these questions at the end. So yeah, moving forward, I wanted to say that focus on the core technical subjects, and don't focus on learning 5 to 6 languages. Now, if you want to know from where can I actually learn how to brush my skills in core technical subjects, brush these problems which are asked frequently in interviews. So I'll tell you that I had given interviews for John Deere, Finacu, and Siemens. I wasn't selected for John Deere and Siemens, but no, I didn't give an interview for John Deere. But in Siemens, where I had given, I was not able to give a proper example for a concept like OOP. Even after I was, I guess, one of the toppers in OOP subject, but I couldn't give a proper example. So that's when I realized that I was overconfident and I had to learn the basics properly so that I can give an example. So these are the resources which I had used. Now, obviously, you will say that cracking the coding interview is a really fat book, and how can we finish that in a few days of a month? So you don't have to go through everything. Focus on the part where you think you are weak. For example, if you're weak in data structures and algorithm, focus on that. If you're weak in operating system, focus on that. This book is really, really useful because it will tell you how to tackle a problem. What are the ways the interviewer expects you to tackle the problem? It doesn't see the interviewer will never expect you to just start writing the code in an efficient manner. They'll expect you to go through a brute force method. They'll expect you to express whatever you're thinking, and all of this is given in this book. So this is one of the resources which I had used. Geeks for Gigs is another a very good website wherein you can find technical interview questions. I tell you frankly, I have seen interviewers actually looking from their laptop for these questions and then asking the students. And as I said, I had come last August for interviews. I know what questions were asked, and being a person from the company side, I know that these people are not that good in this particular whatever question they are asked, but they want to see what they want to see that what you can how you can approach the problem, how you can solve. Okay, and then My Code School. So these two are YouTube channels. My Code School is a YouTube channel wherein I first learned about data structures, and it was so simply explained that I could code any of those data structures in my second year. Say linked list, trees, everything was so easily explained. So if now in fourth year or third year, whatever the audience is, or any branch or any stream, MCA students, everyone, if you want to brush up, you can go to this YouTube channel, My Code School, because they have explained the concepts of these data structures very simply. Why life at Google? Because they actually show you how interviews are conducted for Google. So they're going to show how the questions are asked, what they expect. See, obviously, after going through this video, it's not necessary that you're going to crack all the interviews, but it's necessary to know how these interviewers think, how these interviewers want their interviewee to perform. And all of that is given in this YouTube channel. And these are the 4 resources which I had used for preparing for my interview. So do have a look at these resources. So next is, okay, you know one language perfectly. You are good in say C++ because we have been doing that in second year, or you're good in Python, Java, anything, Android development, anything. So your main point is, whenever your interview starts, you have a resume given to the interviewer, and you have written everything about yourself, about your skills. You have written, this language, that language, and then you have a section of mini projects or any project, your 4th year project, say weekend projects, anything. So these mini projects are so important that whenever interviewer is going to look at them, they just see the title of the project. Say one of my Android projects was a simple bottle spinner. So in that particular thing, they asked me, what did you do? How did you make it? What was the approach? When did you make it? So all these questions they'll ask. They'll ask, how did you use the resources efficiently? How could you fit multiple images and not crash the application? So all these questions will matter, and whatever your mini project is, or any project for that matter, the interview can actually go around that particular topic because you have actually worked on that. Skills is something which people can say, I know Python, I know React framework, I know this and that. Okay, I'll come to that after the question. So, okay, now usually what happens in our third year, we have mini group projects. So in the group projects, you should know your contribution, every minute detail. That if you did some research work, if you did the coding part, if you did the testing part, anything, but you should know each and everything. Because if you just say, Ki, I was a part of this group, they expect you to know what your contribution was. Because after all, see, these people who are coming for interviews are people working with a team. And eventually they want to hire people who are going to work under them or with them, if it's whatever the company hierarchy is. So they are expecting students who can actually contribute in a group, take challenges, take up whatever. If something goes wrong, they should be able to take it. Okay, this went wrong, then this is how we approach to solve the problem. So all of this matters because they are actually looking for a person to work with them. It doesn't matter how skilled you are or how many languages you know. Okay, I'll come to the questions in the end. Yeah. So if you haven't done a good project yet, don't feel bad. It's okay. It happens. What you should do is you should go for weekend projects. So weekend projects is a concept wherein you are busy the whole week and you can work on your project for yourself on the weekend. And as a lockdown is going on right now, we anyway don't have colleges. We don't have anything to go outside. So you can actually work through a weekdays as well, and you can do something useful, something which can be used for your daily work, anything. Focus on that. Choose a language. If you have problems with language, I'll come to that question again. But if you have any problem regarding concepts, then I have shared the resources with you. Go through that, brush up a concept, and then start developing. And this is one of the problems which even I faced. Where to find projects? I mean, what to do? Okay, chal. He said do projects, but what projects do we have to do? So you don't have to be unique. You don't have to be like, I have to build another Facebook or something, or you have to build another Spotify. You just take a simple example which has already been applied. Go to YouTube, find there are so many resources wherein you can find project ideas, and just see what they have done. There are open source projects on GitHub as well. So what you do is you download the project, you see what technologies they have used. This is already written in the documentation, okay? And what you have to do is go through the basics, see what they have implemented, try to implement as it is. So I have seen a LinkedIn post of my juniors. I guess they have just passed out right now. So these people work on Flutter, these people work on Android development, and doesn't mean that they have done something unique or something different other than everyone else. They are doing what other people are doing, but they are doing something. They are showcasing their skills on LinkedIn. They are showcasing their skills on GitHub. So when an interviewer comes and you have shared your experience that you have contributed to so many projects, then they actually know that you can work on a project, not just that you have skills and they have to train you. It's good when you know something already, and when you are trained in that particular field, you are already good at it, and so then you can, that training will be a just brush up for you. Yeah. So as I told you, interviewers will approach how you develop the program. So we usually have in technical interviews, the code writing part is on usually on pen paper. So in my interview specifically, I was told to write a multi-threading program, and I was comfortable in Python because I was working on Python at that time. So I told the interviewer that I'm comfortable in Python, and he was okay with it. He said, use any language, but just implement this particular multi-threading concept. So while writing that, I like what you should do is you should talk to him. So think out loud is a concept wherein you actually, whatever you're thinking, you have to talk out loud. So basically, it's a mixture of these two things: think out loud. And what you have to do is just think whatever you're thinking, you just talk to the person, talk to the interviewer. There are one, two, three interviews, doesn't matter. Talk to everyone. Okay, sir, I'll start with this particular thing. If it's an addition of two numbers, it will never come in an interview, but still, you say we take a variable, then I'll do this to solve a problem. Okay, I think this will be a better data structure or something. So all of this will matter because that person can connect with you. If you're thinking inside, he might feel that he doesn't know the answer, or he's just trying to fool me, like how we sit in exam halls and then we try to think about something, but we're actually not thinking. We're just wondering what the answer could be. So just don't do that. Think out loud. Talk to the interviewer. Try to express what you're feeling. If you don't know the answer, be frank. If you don't know how to approach the problem, be frank. But at least try and think out loud, because what happens is if you don't know the answer, but if you keep trying, you might actually get to the answer. So other than your core technical subjects, your mini projects, there's also one thing which is internships. And I guess this is an autonomous batch. So I guess you guys have done internships in your third year. So my main focus was that interviews will target these two things majorly. Okay, the projects and the internships, because internship is basically the same thing as projects. You do projects is for someone else. Mini projects and everything is for yourself or the college. And internships are something where you contributed to a particular company. So whatever you write in your resume or your CV, whatever points you write about what you did in the internship, for how long the internship was, what frameworks, what technologies you have used, be sure to mention each and everything properly and precisely. Don't mention anything vague. Don't mention anything which you haven't done or something which your peer has done, but you think that you can just put it and the interviewer will not notice. The interviewer is a person who is working in a company. They have interns over there, so they know how internship is conducted. So you don't try to fool them. And if you don't remember any specifics of the internship, don't put it or don't even see it in the particular interview. If in case they ask you a question which you have worked on and you don't recollect it, you just tell them, sir, I'm sorry, or ma'am, I'm sorry, I can't recollect it. They'll be okay with it. If you try to fool them by just bypassing the answer using some random words, keywords, like people have the habit of using data analytics, this, that, don't try to do that, because they are focused on what you know and how you can do it. So they don't want to know if you don't know anything. They just want to know what you know. So don't try to bypass these answers by trying to fool them. Just be sure, like be firm and tell them that you don't know. For people who haven't done internships, so there may be many students who haven't done any internships yet. So what you should do is you should have time. You have a month. I don't think companies are coming that regularly right now. So what you should do is you should focus on weekend projects. And as I told you all, there are so many ideas. There are so many small applications which you can do. If you have a small Arduino at your place, if you have a small Raspberry Pi, even if not that, you can try to build a small software which you can use daily. And see, this is one program which I created in my company. So what happened is, what we used to do is every day, whatever the work we have done in a day, whatever the code has been updated on my machine, we need to store that code in a backup folder. And that backup folder is hosted on some server. And then we have to upload it to a Bitbucket as well. So I wrote a small batch file wherein these edited programs, so I usually work on .NET. So whatever the programs related to .NET are copied to this particular folder and also pushed to the Bitbucket. So this is a small program, this small project, which added to my CV. So many of the employees took this batch file from me and they have used it as well. So this is how the people in the company know that, okay, this person can create batch files. So he can be like, they can use my skill later sometime. So similarly, if you have done something in your engineering, showcase that. Tell them that you have done this, which you use right now, or you have created a software which you're using as a service, anything. And these are some resources wherein you can actually find good projects. See, Medium is one of the best places to read. If you want to read, you should go to Medium. And I have written around 29 Python articles, which are small applications. So basically using an API to create something. So if you want, you can go at this particular link and you just go and read whatever I've written. If you don't understand, you can ping me, but I think it's quite easily explained. You just go, there are 29 articles, pick one, try to implement that, try to modify it. I'll be very happy. You can clone my repositories from GitHub as well. There are so many open source projects wherein you can contribute. And I guess it's August, starting of August. So there are so many open source projects which go with Google's GSOC. You should search for this GSOC. These are open source projects which Google collaborates with, and then students get the chance to apply for that. I know this is too much to do in 1 month for your interviews, but your major focus should be on mini projects and whatever weekend projects you do, because at the end, your core technical subjects will help you know the concepts. But if you have no implementation in that, the company might not actually benefit from you. So you should have some experience in working with it. YouTube is another place, and Reddit is another place wherein you can find so many topics. I mean, there are so many YouTubers say, I can't recollect the names, but there are so many YouTubers who actually take a particular problem, they solve it, they create a project. There are tutorials of 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, but they are building something. They, whatever they want, they are trying. You just do that. Don't copy the code. Don't keep the tutorial on and just take right line by line write the code, because that won't help you. That will build your CV, but when you will be asked questions in the interview, you won't be able to answer. So focus on how you can build something by yourself. Understand the concept. Even if it's not up to the mark, it's okay. Just focus on making something. Reddit is another example wherein you just follow r/Python for Python projects, r/Java for Java projects. People post there every time. They keep posting whatever they want, they have done, or whatever they think can be done. And other people take note of that and they start building something. So these three major points, like I wanted to cover today, is that don't get disheartened if you are rejected in a technical interview. It happens. We had people from my batch who were not selected till the end and eventually got a good package. One of my friends, I guess he is the highest package from my batch. Even his technical interviews, everything was going good, but still didn't get placed. And at the end, he was selected in Ion. And see, that's what, if you don't feel you're prepared for a technical interview, just focus on building your skills. Eventually you will be hired for something which you think is going to be good for you. Don't be disheartened at all. And see, I have just worked for a year. I have passed out in 2019, so I'm not a person who can tell you everything that happens in the technical interviews, but from my experience, whatever I had, I've shared with you all. So I just want to say that focus on building your skills. Don't get disheartened. And if you have like whatever questions you have posted over here, I'll go through them now. So is it okay if we move on to the questions?
Okay, thank you, Ajinkya. I will just read the questions from the audience, from the participants,
Yes,
and you just give the answers.
Yes.
So first question was asked by ERP, some student is. So what language would you suggest for someone from a non-CS department?
So usually when technical interviews when people are conducting technical interviews, a non-CS department is usually, say, ENTC or IT, or IT is also CS department, but anyway, ENTC or mechanical. I don't think civil students will apply for a technical interview. So what I want to say is focus on something which you have done. Now, obviously, when ENTC students come for the interview, they have a basic knowledge of C or C++. So focus on that. So any non-CS department student, if he has not coded ever, what they should do is they should focus on some easy language like Python. But again, I'm telling you, language doesn't matter. But if you don't know anything, Python is a really, really easy language.
Okay, yes, great. Second question. Sir, I have learned all basics of C language, but feeling difficult to apply concepts and can't be able to solve problems in
Hacker.
HackerRank.
Mhm. Yeah, right.
What will
So
be your suggestion?
yes, sir. HackerRank is a good website. Everyone should actually take note of it and solve problems on HackerRank, because sometimes what happens is interviewers also take their technical coding skills test in HackerRank or HackerEarth. So if you're feeling, see, if you are feeling like if you're getting some difficulty in applying these concepts, that maybe your concept is not clear. Because if your concept is clear, you can easily apply any language to that concept. But in case your concepts are also strong, then you should consult a teacher, you should consult a faculty, they'll help you with it. Or you can consult anyone, any of your friends who's good at it, any of your alumni friends, they will surely help you in that. And as I know, HackerRank problems are not that uh, difficult, but in case there's a problem, you can always search for them on Google. There's a solution given. Don't copy the solution. Take the solution line by line, understand what's going, how they're applying, what methodology they have applied, what data structure that they have used, or anything for that matter. Just focus on how they have solved the problem, and then you do it.
Yes,
That's
perfect.
a suggestion from my side.
Yes, yes, very good, sir. Another one question, sir. How much it matters in a technical interview when it comes to competitive programming / coding? Does it add any extra weightage to the interview?
Um, Frankly, it does, because if you have done a competitive programming or competitive coding, uh, they know that you have the skill set to solve a problem. But it doesn't mean that people who haven't, myself have not done so much of my, I haven't spent much time in doing competitive coding. I tried, but as the other student was facing problems, even I faced a problem and I was not able to answer some questions. But that doesn't mean I gave up. But it's not, I mean, it is a part. If you have it, it's going to help you. But if you don't have it, doesn't mean that interview will be like, "Arey, he doesn't know this, so we'll not select him." It's quite simple. If you know it, it'll be a good advantage. If you don't know it, doesn't matter. Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you, sir. So next question, what topics in operating system and computer network should we concentrate on more? In general, question is or question can be formed like this. During technical interviews, which are the core domains from which questions will be asked and how the weightage will be given?
Yeah. So as I said in this particular slide, that see in computer networks architectures as ring architecture or any so client server model or push and subscribe, anything, all these models which are architectures which usually are used, like whichever are used currently in the system, focus on that, because all these companies have a network architecture of themselves. Okay, so network architecture is something which is actually used and applied in everyday life. So you should know the concepts of these architectures. Then TCP/UDP is the most important concept of computer network, because that is the base model on which the internet works. So if you know TCP/UDP, you actually know a little bit of computer networks. IP and OSI layers. So everyone, I mean, computer network subject has these particular topics. Focus on the layers, because these are few questions which are asked frequently in interviews. So for computer networks, these are the four things which I have mentioned, which I feel are important. In operating system, most of the interviews will focus on multi-threading, but there have been interviews wherein people have been asked about task scheduling, which are the algorithms which can be used for task scheduling. But major focus is on multi-threading, the thread lifecycle, how to implement a thread, if you want to go lower level threads, higher level threads, focus on that. But these 6 points total of operating system and computer networks are quite important, and they, like, questions other than this are rare. So that's for OS and computer networks.
Okay, yes, great, sir. Thank you. So next question is related to the language learns. So for example, some students are asking that they are learning C, Java, Python. So up to what level the language learning is up to the mark? And second question, align with that, if you have done any projects in that language, should we mention in the CV?
Yes, yes, definitely. For the second question, if you have done any project in a particular language, mention it. knowing your skills, I mean, putting down that I know this language, that language, 10 languages, and not doing any project is really bad than knowing two, three languages and doing projects in that. Because as I said, uh, applied language is always better than theory. Theory, everyone can study. So there is this resource I just forgot to mention that learn X in Y minutes. So learn X in Y minutes is a website wherein you can get any program. I mean, I'll show you one second. So this website will go through any of the language which you want in a very, say, if I want to go for C++, they have given ekdam short mein. So what functions are there, why it's used, very simple. So if you want to learn theory, come here, learn it, done. You can apply it for your particular CV. But projects can't be found online and just put it on your CV. People will obviously question that how you have approached this problem. So question was, what is the high, like till what should we learn a particular language, say C++ or Java? So you should be able to apply all these concepts of your theory, say data structures, algorithms, OOP, multi-threading, and TCP. So all these. So I had done a project in college with my friends. Was a LAN connected drive. So Google Drive is on the internet. We implemented a particular local drive project. In that, we used all these. We used multi-threading. We used TCP, UDP to share files. We used data structures to share serialize whatever objects we were passing. So and OOP for obviously implementing classes. So all these particular topics should be covered in a project. So if you can do that, then as a computer engineer, you have done a lot. You don't have to go and build a particular big platform which is being hosted somewhere. If you do that, you don't need a job. But if you apply these particular subjects in your project, then you have completed everything.
Yes, perfect, sir. Sir, one of the, I think this is second last question. Right now, most of the students are doing internships during final year, during third year, and they are gaining lots of technical knowledge.
Okay.
And after that, in the final year, the knowledge they have learned during or the concept is expanded to the project, final year project.
Right.
So, in general, what will be your suggestion during internship and during projects? How the knowledge, how the technical skills should be enhanced, so that can be helpful for the final interview and final selection in the company.
Okay. So I don't think fourth year project is completed till the time you are actually going giving interviews. But in case you are focusing more on your fourth year project or your internships which you are doing in your fourth year, you should focus on something wherein you are actually working on a proper MVC model or a proper framework which company uses. So if you say you're doing an internship, you are a software developer, Android developer, anything, and these, see, I know when I used to study software development models, I used to be like, who's going to apply this and why people will use this? And frankly speaking, that was what all students used to feel. But when you come to a company, when you start working in the company, they are actually using that. They're using Jira, everything. I mean, there are scrums going on. So all these actually get applied. More than these OOP and data structure concepts, these software development models are used. So try to focus on that particular topic while doing internships. Because what will happen is when you are doing an interview and you are able to tell them, sir, during my internship, we had this scrum meeting, we discussed this, then we went for this particular task. I had to give it in the next release or whatever your task is in the internship. Focus on that because that is actually going to help you because that person who's taking your interview, they are they are focused on someone they want to work with. So as I mentioned earlier, people are actually coming for an interview to take an interview whenever they are like they have been asked. So they don't have anything prepared or something. They just want to hire someone who's good and who can work, who they can work with. So focus on that particular aspect of the internship. And as I've told about projects, focus on covering all these particular core subjects because if you're not interning somewhere, then and you're doing it your by yourself, then you should focus on something wherein you are building something using all these concepts. So you can forecast. I mean, you can showcase that in the interview, saying, "Sir, I have whatever I've learned in 4 years, I've applied in this particular project."
Yes, yes, thank you. Ajinkya sir, last question is about till interview we have seen everything, yeah, all FAQs and etc. etc. But right now, one student is asking that if during the interviews, I have some basic concept, I know the basic concept, I have given the answer, all answers,
Huh.
but during the working, I don't have that much deep knowledge because it might happen that during interviews,
Mhm.
interviewer asks some basic questions, the core concepts, and I know that. But during product development, during the joining, I don't have that much thorough knowledge. So how he or she can improve in this case, and what will be suggestion to improve its technical knowledge?
Okay, so after joining, if you're not able to perform, so every company usually has a notice period. So I think that will be one push for you, that in the notice period, sorry, probation period, not notice period, probation period. In the probation period, you have to perform, otherwise they might take you out of the company. So this is one push what students usually have to do and learn. But when you join the company, you know what technologies they use, or even before joining. So I knew that my company works in .NET. I knew that my company works in this particular domain. So before joining, I just for a month I just read about these concepts. I read how these particular frameworks or technologies work, and I improved my skills in that. If you're facing problem for that, you should join a class or you should join some online course. There are so many courses right now: edX, Coursera, Udemy, and pay for it. Because what will happen if you download it for free from torrent, pirated version, you won't have the motivation to actually do it. So Coursera actually has started removing its free courses and only putting paid courses, because students are actually enrolling for multiple courses but don't like even watch one of the lectures. So focus on building your skills by going through these courses. And if you face problems in the courses, then you can ask your mentor if there is any, or then you should actually join a class wherein a person is going to teach you one on one. There are few students, so a few people who actually do this one on one classes. That's These classes will actually help you build your skills. So you should focus on that if you are facing a problem. If you can do it by yourself, then it's good. You can do it by yourself. Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Ajinkya.
Okay.
The bottom, another question is raised from the participants is that in the VIIT or any other technical college, we have various forums. Like we have network academies, we have ML forum, we have IIT forums.
Right.
Does this forum member or the work we are doing in this forum is
Mhm.
going to be added extra weightage during the interviews?
Definitely. See, I have worked in EDC. I have worked in IoT Forum. I was the technical secretary. So eventually worked in Gandharv as well. So all these things do matter a lot. Frankly speaking, when we joined, there were students from other colleges, this UAP and everywhere, and the managers or the one who was actually heading us was impressed by students who have done this work. And in interviews, when you showcase that you have done this management skills, so for example in EDC or Gandharva, you have to manage events. So that is some these management skills are also being used, because when you join the company, you just don't have to sit and code. You have to manage with the team. You should know how the team works. For technical aspects, IoT forum, ML forum, I don't know other forums. I guess mechanical students have other forums for CAD and everything. Join that, because this will actually help you build something. So when I was in IoT forum, I went with Nitin sir and one of the students, and one was Katre sir. So we went to Chiplun. We actually taught students over there, and that added to my CV. I got an appreciation letter from them that they came and they have taught junior college students. So all these things will actually matter. The appreciation letters matter. See, all of this is going to matter till you get the job. Okay, so after you get the job, all of this won't matter. This is for your first job. All these technical skills, all these forums, they will help you a lot in your first job, or at least getting the first job. Because after you get the first job, your market is set that you have worked in this company, so now you can work in some other company. But for this first job, first campus placement, this is going to be a game changer, because so many students come to college, say 50% enroll in these forums. and others don't. So you have to stand out. If you are in the forum, try to make as much as possible out of it. And yeah, that's a suggestion that you should definitely join forums.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Ajinkya. Thank you for
Yes, sir. So there is one question about MCA
all the
student.
enlightening core areas you have just talked on the technical interviews. Okay.
So should I answer that?
Yes, please, please.
Actually, I had this question on screen, but it's not available here. Okay. I'm not getting the question, sir. I'll answer this one more. Are there any differences in the interviews having higher package? Not necessarily. Sometimes packages of 4 to 6 lakh or 7 lakh also have tough questions, and packages with more than that don't have that skilled questions. Because what happens is when higher packages company come, they have a criteria for them. They have criteria. See, I wasn't able to sit for Avaya because I had 3 backlogs in my first semester of engineering. So dead backlog wasn't allowed. So couldn't sit for that. Then HSBC, I guess, or some company came with a package of 8 lakh or something, and they didn't allow me because my 12th marks were less. So all of this sometimes matters for companies, but then frankly, if you have done everything well from 12th, first year, everything, then don't think about the questions and whatever questions are being asked. If you're good at what you know, any package questions you can answer that. Yes, sir. That's all. I didn't get the MCA question, but okay.
Yes, thank you, sir. I think that question is in front of me. Sir, I am studying MCA. Please, can you say the next step how to join a company? So the person is the participant is asking how I can join on campus and off campus. That is totally dependent upon placements. Uh, so it is whether it is on campus or off campus. So it totally depends, and our topic is totally different. But
Right.
to join a company, what basic requirements? One of the hurdle is interviews that we are talking today about. So I think all questions has been covered.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. So what of thanks. Thank you, Mr. Ajinkya, for joining us today. And we are very proud of you. And you are our proud alumni. Hope same cooperation and same guidance will be available in the future. And thank you for enlightening all the concepts, and thanks for giving all the inputs. And rightly mention you if you want to just crack the interviews, just sell according to the requirements. Whatever the requirements are there in the mentioned job post, market according to that and secure your position. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for giving this opportunity. Thanks everyone for listening to me. So many participants didn't expect so many students to come on a Sunday, but thanks a lot, and thank you, sir, for this opportunity.
Yes, thank you. Lastly, I want to thank Mr. Paresh sir from Huawei. Thanks to the entire Huawei team. Thanks to Mr. Professor Subhash Tatale, and thanks to the entire industry relation team, TPO, as well as myself, Vikas Kolikar.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.